Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact, an essential podcast for those who live, work, visit, and play in Carlsbad.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Brett Schanzenbach. I'm the president and CEO of the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, and I am your host today. And I'm excited to have with me two guests this morning. I have Susette Hill and Kate Mood. They are both principals and co-owners of a very interesting business here in Carlsbad called Dynamic Space Solutions. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So we should probably say right away that you guys are co-owners, but you have a third part of your team, and the third co-owner's name is
Stephanie Rosalie.
Yeah, Stephanie.
Original co-founder with us, and sorry she couldn't be here with us today.
Yeah, well, we wanted to include her, and so we got her in here now. So, and I know you guys will represent her very well. So, tell us a little bit, because you guys have had Dynamic Space Solutions for approximately 24 years. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, this will be our 20th year of being incorporated. So It's a big year for us.
So tell us a little bit about the backstory. What led you to start Dynamic Space Solutions? And then we'll dig into a little bit more of what it actually is, which could come up through your backstory. But tell us, what was your inspiration?
Our inspiration was actually each other. We were like, who's going to talk first?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that. You do that in partnerships.
Yes.
So basically the way that we started out is we worked together helping companies to move. And in that process, we just really worked together well. We had an aviation background, which is the reason how we got in touch with each other. And we had a very large corporation who came to us who said, if you guys incorporate, we really want you to help us with our new building and our build out. And so we looked at each other and said, let's do it. And we jumped in and said, let's go. We don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we have the inspiration and here we go. And there were some founding principles with it too, which was really around the people that we worked with. Mm-hmm. And knowing that, we had people that worked with our company at the time, plus each other, was just really understanding that this is what is going to make our company go, is understanding the people that work for us, but also the people that we're working for. So that was a founding principle.
Taking a step even prior to that, we were family friends before that. Kate mentioned the aviation background, and that went 10 years prior to coming into work together and working this business. So we had a foundation as we went into starting the business. And it's really led to a great partnership and friendship. I mean, sisterhood, really.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah. Well, obviously, it's been a successful sisterhood because you're multiple decades into the friendship and 24 years-ish into the business side. And that's not always easy to morph friends doing business together. So you guys have navigated that very well. So you've mentioned relocations a little bit. Why don't we go ahead and dig in and tell us a little bit more about the width and breadth of what Dynamic Space Solutions does.
Okay, great. So, moving a business might seem easy just in the title of it. But when you look at everything that goes into a company or into an office building and into the employee perspective or the employee experience of it, there's a lot that goes into it. So as we started out helping companies move, it's really grown into making sure that the whole experience of it is something that is very enjoyable to everybody. So it's enjoyable to the owners or the company itself because we can keep it on budget, and it's enjoyable to the employees because we really care for each person individually. So we really try to make sure everything has a personal touch to it, that everybody's name is part of it and they're really brought along for the experience, not just it happened to them. It's you're going through it with them. So and there's a lot that goes with a company move, everything from security to janitorial to furniture to making sure the coffee's on when they come in, that they know where to arrive on their first day, to where their new local dry cleaner is, what's nearby, what's around them, what's their new community look like. So we've really, we have a very detailed process to make sure that all of their needs are met. And then we also customize our process for every client because every client is different and the heartbeat of that company is different. So whether it's a biotech that this one cell line cannot be impacted, or it's a manufacturing company that they have to meet their manufacturing deadlines. Every client has a different heartbeat, and we come in and we do discovery, figure out what that is to them, and then really stay focused on that to make sure that all their needs are met through it. So it's fun. There's no 2 days that are the same.
Yeah, I bet there aren't. And that's very interesting. So in listening, a couple of things that you said resonated, like you don't want a corporate move to be something that happens to the employees. And that is very interesting because moves are disruptive.
They are.
I mean, no matter how you slice it, they're disruptive.
And you need to have everybody on the same page, and I think the individual, recognizing the individuals that are being impacted by that move, when you recognize them and pull them in, then it goes so much more smooth. And space, no matter how we look at it, is, where we work is personal. And so, taking a look at that and not depersonalizing it, just saying, okay, we know what this means to you, and here's your role, here's how we're going to do this together. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, just that, I was picking up that concierge vibe from what you were sharing, and like helping them know even where like the local, dry cleaner could be. So I'm imagining that you've dealt with clients in a wide array, like some clients who maybe are a what we might call local move, but also clients who are making a much bigger move. I don't know. Tell us a little bit about how that's come together for you guys.
We have some clients that are just moving to the suite just quote unquote, but moving to the suite next door, the area next door, expanding. And that can be approached like a move also, because you're expanding, you're adjusting just a little bit. But we have assisted clients that are moving cross country. On that, we don't get into the household side at all. We stay away from that, but we try to make the corporate move as seamless as possible. And a lot of the cross country or the cross state corporation moves that we've helped with are in the biotech field. So it's more, the science or the technology that's moving a lot of times in that case, but there's still the people side of it. And making
interesting though too is the interstate moves that we've done for these companies have been to the San Diego area. So it's interesting.
Yeah, we brought them in.
I was going to ask, as the Carlsbad Chamber, I hope you're bringing them into our area and not sending them away. That's great. No, but those interstate moves that's big.
You have to approach them, I think, in the same way that you would a local move. You just have to really make it more personal to the people who are choosing to move across the country. We moved a company from Florida to San Diego, and big difference on the coastlines.
Sure.
So you just had to really do some homework to make it more personal for them. A little bit in terms of the timing for their personal moves, for their household moves, even though we didn't oversee them. But really, once it goes on the truck, you're meeting it here, it's the same as it would be if it were in the local area. So you have to kind of treat it the same. Otherwise, you will be overwhelmed by it. So
I feel like as somebody who's gone through on a local level, those kinds of moves, one of the biggest things you want when you start day one at that new spot is, does the internet work? Is my computer system going to come on and be functional?
Yes. Yeah, it's all the magic that happens behind the scenes that can make it or break it. And so really, where we ramp up and heat up is on the weekends usually. A lot of times are overnight, because then come 6 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever time everybody's starting, everything has to be on. So it is. And a backup plan too, because, we've planned for all of it, but the few percent that could go wrong, we have to have a backup plan for. So
makes sense. Yeah. And we're going to morph soon here into some of the things about your culture, but I want to hear from you guys how you've seen some transitions with your clients specifically, since COVID, and there's this move towards a lot more acceptance of the virtual workspace, which you guys already embraced in your company, and we will talk about that. But corporate-wide, the shift that happened, that was forced upon everybody by COVID, has led to a greater acceptance of the virtual worker. So what are you seeing along those lines with clients that you work with?
It's been such an interesting time. We were talking about this, or we've been talking about it a lot lately. It comes up all the time. So we were talking about how as much as COVID broke things, it also created and made things. And it's so cool watching it happen. So, these cultures that were strictly in the office, COVID, it's go home that night, and they've been home for 2 years or year and a half or however long they ended up being home for. And then all of a sudden it was hard to bring them back. And what are we doing? How are we bringing them back? But watching and helping clients as they are bringing people back or adjusting to a more flexible environment that people can be at home or on site has been fascinating, and we've seen it happen a full spectrum of how it's been done. But I think that the one thing that's really come up is as people come back to the office, make it as collaborative as possible. So people aren't coming into the office to sit in their cube or their office to work. People are coming into the office to collaborate. And so clients are really working on creating days for teams. So your specific team is coming in on Tuesday, and people want to come in and see their team and work with them and then do collaborative exercises or projects or whatever it is they need to do. But it's really inspired that collaboration in person. You can work remote, but you need to collaborate in person. And then also getting better at the remote. Everybody's continued to improve that remote part of it, or the split. You have half the team in the conference room, half the team on, the virtual. So just really working on the combination and trying to bring everybody together either way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we've seen some of the similar things with the members we've talked to and people we've experienced personally directly. We're going to take a brief pause. We've been talking with Susette Hill and Kate Mood from Dynamic Space Solutions. When we come back, we're going to talk about how they were honored in 2021 as the best place to work in Carlsbad at our CBAD Awards. We'll be right back. So last year, you guys were our winner at our CBAD Awards for Best Place to Work in Carlsbad. And I know that the culture you create at your company is very important to you. So tell us about that. And, we already know that you guys started about 25-ish years ago. But as you started and grew, it seems like you were super intentional about, as you added team members, like what you wanted to create within your organization. So share that with us.
We have a super close-knit team, and that's very important to us. So as we started and as we've grown, it was very important to have everybody have camaraderie and be able to lean on each other, even if they weren't in the same office together. So we were, we've always been at different sites and work from home and had like a very split up office environment, if
very
you will.
Virtual.
Very virtual.
Very
We've always been wherever you
Remote.
can work anywhere. Yes. But it's important that we've kept a tight culture. And so we've really made efforts and been intentional about how we've done that. So we've had opportunity that we could grow our company a lot. And we intentionally decided that we weren't going to do that because it would split it up too much. So we've kept it about the same size for a lot of years, made sure that we had the time to spend individual time with each of our team members. And that we've really been able to keep like a family environment. So one way with the culture that has been important to us is like in scheduling and planning, looking at each of our team members as individuals and looking at what their family life is and what they have going on and figuring out, okay, can they travel this week? Can they be on site? Do they need to be at home? Does their son have a game that night? Do they need, to help their mom because the mom's sick? Like what's going on in their life, and really adjusted their schedule and their projects accordingly. So it's really, been a culture that we care about not just them as individuals, but their family and what else they need to support.
Yeah, I love that. Here, I talk about regularly with my team, that we work to live. We don't live to work.
Right.
And so that integration for us is very important too. And that's great to hear that.
It takes us hours each week to work through the schedule just to take into account all of those factors, but also the individual, the different things that they may be desiring in their lives as well. So we try to work closely to understand things that they're interested in terms of our business. And we have different aspects to it where people can learn and grow. We can mentor them. But sometimes they come to us with their own ideas of things that they would like to pursue. And at times we will go find the project that fits the employee. So it's that connection is very important, and it's been really good for our company.
Oh, that's great. I was looking at your guys' website and found a few things that struck me as, well, actually your website, but also last year when you submitted your nomination for Best Place to Work, I was rereading that submission and found some very interesting things that you do. So I'm going to throw these out there and have you talk about them and why you do these. But it said that when new employees come on board, they get certified or trained in CPR and first aid, and they also receive a 3-day emergency survival backpack. That seems very unique to me. So how did that all evolve?
Early on, early 2000s, there was a few fires in the area that were very significant for San Diego area. And making sure that our employees were safe and everybody evacuated, or, okay, come to this house, we'll go over there. It just really became, a team of like making sure we're taking care of each other. And safety and preparedness has just always been so important to us. So the first day on a site, we make sure they do safety training. We're doing lab training. Safety is so important. If you return home to your family, that's the most important thing. So the 3-day ready kits came up as, we had first started thinking like, okay, we'll just do training on how to be prepared. And then we're like, nope, we got to make sure they're prepared. So we just started doing the Ready America 3-day kits and sending them out. And that way we know our employee and their family is taken care of and have the supplies that they would need if there was an emergency. And then therefore they can really help other people. They can branch out, or even if they were stuck at a client site, which might not be right next to their house, their family's taken care of at home. And so it was just really important to us to make sure that they're safe. And to us, it didn't feel like that big of a thing. It was just like, okay, they're safe now, they can help other people. But it really is special, and it's neat seeing the reaction from new employees now. Like, wow, I would have never even thought of that, So,
and I think that struck me too. It's the thoughtfulness in it, And being in Southern California, we know we're just the next Santa Ana away from a big threat for another fire. So it's an ever-present thing. So I think it's very thoughtful. That's great. You guys also have something called an annual gratitude project bonus.
Well, yes.
Yeah, we do. So we'll do a couple of things like wrapped in there probably. So that, as projects come up, and it might be a large project or it might be an intense timing in their work life, and we want to reward that. So we pay everybody hourly, so they definitely get overtime and they're getting paid, compensated for that. It's not a salary, steady, position. So when they go above and beyond, they're getting compensated, but there's times that they need to be compensated even more. And so we will do a gratitude project bonus at times to compensate for their above and beyond efforts and a job well done and just our gratitude for them. So
that's
we
great.
Also do a gratitude dinner every year. So during the holiday time, it's just so busy. And so we decided that in the first part of the year, first quarter, we get everybody together and have a gratitude dinner, and we have their significant others come with them, and it's our thank you to the families as well. So because we know that that support system matters for us when we're on the job and serving our clients. So yes,
very nice. And I noticed that during COVID, you had something called Sparkle events. Yes. I would love to know what a Sparkle event is.
We did, and they were fun. So during COVID, we missed getting together with our team so much because we love it when we all get together for staff meetings, for lunches, for whatever we can get together for. So we started doing our Sparkle events, and that was like a virtual happy hour in some ways. So we went through and found a lot of local vendors that we could put together custom gift baskets or gift assortment to go and hand deliver to everybody's home. And so our team lives all over San Diego, outer limits.
We know that
and
because
so,
we've been there now.
Yeah. So we put together like a hand-picked assortment from throughout San Diego. One of my favorites was a local vendor called IRS Cocktails, and they do custom craft cocktails that are like high-end, amazing cocktails that you pretty much just add ice. And so we went through and we did the IRS cocktails. We did chocolates from down Carlsbad. We had some stuff from Pronto's. We just went through and got like all of our local vendors and merchants and put together a gift basket, made sure there was ice packs in it to keep it cold, and then brought it out to everybody's home. And then we did a Zoom where we could all open it and share and enjoy. And it was so much fun. I mean, we did a few of them over COVID, and now it's like, maybe we should still, I mean, it's fun getting together in person, but it was awesome to do that during COVID.
That's great. Yeah. I love the thoughtfulness and all of that. I had my employees are not all over San Diego County, like you just said, but kind of all over North County. And I remember doing something similar I was super bummed during COVID that we couldn't have our normal staff Christmas gathering that we would have, because we typically hosted at my house and super personal with the spouses, like you were saying, and things like that. And it really bummed me out. So we did something kind of akin to what you were just sharing, and I went and delivered it to all their houses and things. So yeah, I know what you mean when you have a better awareness for how dispersed your team is. That was great.
We had started out doing Amazon deliveries because that was easy, right? Something that we could send out, and we're like, nope, we need more personal touch. So that's when we went to the local, and that was even more fun.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, you guys are definitely a fun place it sounds like you're a fun place to work, or at least you have a fun work environment. I'm sure there's days where the work's hard, but
it is.
As we began, when we were growing up, so to speak, we worked remotely, and just because we needed to be on site with our clients, there really was not a purpose to come back to an office, because we needed to be on site with our clients. And we recognized early on that we had to figure out, how are we going to build our connections with our employees? How do we have eyes that are across the county so that we know that they're okay, and that they're functioning? There's ways that we connect on a one-on-one basis, but still, just as a group, knowing who your resources are, who you can lean on for different skill sets. Just knowing each other and being proud of the team that we are, and knowing it, because if we go into a move set, we have a lot of redundancy in the skill sets, so that you can call up almost anyone on our team at any moment and say, hey, I need help with putting up signs. Okay, I'll be right there. They know what to do. So it's but that connection it's born in the efforts that we put forth in our intentions for the individual, which they're sincere. So I think that they're received that way as well.
Yeah, you guys were out ahead of what everybody had to pivot to in 2020. You were there. You were ready for that, and you could probably start a whole consulting business on the side, just consulting people how to keep company connectivity and dynamic culture going in this new reality, because it's not going away, right?
Right.
We talked about that a little bit, that some form of remote work is here to stay in most industries. So, I think you guys could make some money guiding people on how to do what you've done so well.
In a way, the truth is that in a way we really do, with the clients that we work with. We've been working with them very closely during the COVID change and the remote working environment, and how do we entice people to come back to work, and what's been going on while they're gone. As we worked through the move process, we knew that communication was very important, and now it's called change management. You start looking at culture change within moving to another building. There was a huge culture change in COVID. Like, guess what? I took my backpack home, and I haven't been back to my office in the last year. I don't even know what it looks like. And in the meantime, you have people who are running facilities and looking at fallow ground, saying, how do we make this work? How do we prepare it? How do we change this space? And again, it becomes that personal time. So speaking to that in terms of our communication and our culture change support with the companies that we work with, we really try to point that out and come up with ideas and help be that glue. Let's, remember the people.
That's great. Well, before we completely wrap up here, we should probably throw out how somebody could get in touch with you guys if they're hearing this and they're like, hey, we're looking at moving, from one office space to another. Where can they reach out and find more information about you guys?
That would be great. We'd love to hear from you. Our website is dynamicspacesolutions.com. And on there's a contact button. We'd love to have you reach out and see what your needs are. And we help companies of all sizes and all types. So it would be great to talk to you and see what needs are.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming down, taking time to chat with us and helping us learn more about what you guys do and the amazing culture you've created at your company.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Thank
Brett.
you.
And thank you to the Chamber.
Yes, very much so.
Thanks for joining us on our Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact podcast today. If you enjoyed it, please hit the follow button on wherever you get your audio. And please tell a friend. We would love to hear your feedback, which you can share at carlsbadpodcast.com. You can leave us a review, ask a question, or leave an audio comment, which we can play on the show in the future. And that's all we have for today. Can't wait to see you next time on Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact. And remember, share some kindness today. It's free, creates goodwill, and makes you feel great.